All right. Okay. Does that get it across? I hope so. I'm trying to cut through. Yeah, it's so much better sometimes. Minimalism. Trying to cut through, man. I am the alcoholic audio engineer, and if you were persuaded to click through when you saw that sign in the preview, as you were perhaps with trembling DT-driven hands scrolling through your YouTube app on your smartphone, welcome to my channel. So let me just give you read the description for one thing. Read the description right now. Okay, if you have a problem with alcohol to whatever degree, if you're seriously thinking about dealing with it in a proactive way, that means, you're not just toying with the idea. You're ready to get serious about it. Please read the description and go to the link to the playlist called Building a Song, Gorilla in the Corner of the Room, where I show you how you, with nothing but a laptop computer, USB microphone, free software, and acoustic guitar and functioning vocal cords, you can start making music and learning how to mix it and get good at it and make recordings that you can feel proud of. You might even get to the point where next time you go into the bar, instead of drinking, you slip a USB thumb drive to your buddy behind the bar, and he sticks it on the PA, and you get to listen to it in a live environment. Anyway, if you clicked through, welcome, and I am a cantankerous, middle-aged contrarian. I curse quite a bit. I'm long format, and I'm just not. I don't play the YouTube game. I'm not here for a lot of likes and subscriptions. I'm here to find a handful of people who need to quit drinking and start doing something else that's a lot more creative and productive and ultimately satisfying. I explain this all in the description. I need to shorten. See, all right, so those of you who normally tune in, I just happened to watch a video that featured the guy that who's responsible for YouTube's algorithm. And one suggestion that he had was make the first few seconds of your video count, because I think it's what he said, especially people on their smartphones, they see the thumbnail for a half a second, and then they see the first few seconds of your video. I think that's what he said. So, this channel is not for everybody. That's for sure. And I was going to go without the air conditioning, but oh God, it's this. I'm going to pause it and turn on the aircon. I just can't. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to, yeah. It'll encourage me to not be so long-winded. All right, let's get down to it. If you're, I was a decades-long, and I would say over the course of 30 years, I averaged easily, let's say, my standard unit would be a fifth of vodka, 80 proof. And if you averaged it all out, easily a fifth a day for 30 years. All right? And I live in South Korea, where the cheapest of cheap booze, which is actually not rot gut by any stretch, soju, is, I mean, you know, if I could quit drinking in this environment, you can do it too. And you can, you know, for me, audio production as a hobby and a passion was integral to my success. So that's why I started this YouTube channel in the first place, because I don't. Anyway, here I am, and if you're one of my very few regular viewers, apologize for you know, the delay in getting to into the meat of the main show here. So, but okay, I'll strike a balance somehow. So, again, if you're alcoholic and in need of help, go to the, this rest of this video may not be your cup of tea right now. Go to the description, find the link to my series on becoming a DIY home audio productionist. Okay? All right. So, last night I made a video, how I see sound, and I talked about my synesthesia. I did a lot of thinking about it today, and I realized a few new things about it. So okay, I'm not gonna meander and prevaricate the way that's not the right word. I'm not gonna meander the way that I normally do. I'm really gonna try to go through this. Okay, Josh, you've expressed interest in hearing my old album recorded in the big Buddha hall in the Korean temple back in winter of 2007, I think it was. And I've replied that the only way I'm going to share it with you is through email, and I've given you my email address. I haven't heard from you through email. I don't know if you missed those comments. Maybe you're just shy about sharing your email address at this point. I could hardly blame you. I don't know what the case is, but okay, so I'm going to start by playing one of the tracks from the Temple album. Okay, so just really quick background. I recorded a concept album, double album, in an enormous Buddha hall in Korean Zen, or the Korean pronunciation is Sun Buddhist temple in the countryside of just not far from Daejeon, South Korea, in 2007, the dead of winter. It was all the songs were live, no rehearsals, no more than 3 takes, as I remember, per song. And so it was experimental. It was by the seat of the pants. There were no guarantees. It was a real high wire act. And to whatever degree I pulled it off, I pulled it off. It can't. I was on Korean TV. I got a contract offer from Universal Records, which I turned down. And anyway, years later, here we are, and I'm on a quest to, as I put it in a recent letter to someone, cut the icy, jagged heart of digital audio out of my digital audio, which I think I think I did well with that sentence. And as you can see, with the exception of this phase pedal here on my pedal board, let's see, a Kai IntelliPhase P1. Wait a minute, no, that's digital. They just, the claim to fame is that it sounds so analog-y. I think the H2O, the visual sound H2O, I think the chorus, this chorus and echo, I think the chorus side is analog. And I guess the compressor is analog. Oh, and the amplifier, that's analog. But everything else is digital, including my microphones, all digital. And I am, as I talked about in last night's video, it's not that I hate digital audio across the board. I don't. And so that's all in last night's video, how I see sound. I'm not going to reiterate all that. But, okay, so hang on. Display capture. And if you're a boozer, this really will, getting into this really will give you reasons not to drink, because you can't do this shit and be drunk. Can't. That's why I stopped doing it for so many years. I was just too drunk. And as you get older, you're just less able to punch through the haze, the ever accruing haze and gunk that pollutes your being. You just can't do it. Take alcohol out of the equation, sky's the limit. So, the color of my webcam there in the corner, to me, that's analog sound. That's certain kind of analog sound. That's heavy tape saturation. And the nice, clean, sharp, pleasing colors that you see here in my studio cam. Very clean, I guess there's a video lag here tonight, whatever. That's good, clean, pleasing digital audio, which is what okay, so given the fact that I'm 99% digital, okay, so objective number one is to make digital audio productions that sound pleasing to me and hopefully to others. But that's far from being my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is impossible. My ultimate goal is to attain the colors and the living, breathing presence of analog audio, real analog audio, within the limitations of my digital limitations. All right? Which is theoretically impossible. I think not only theoretically impossible, it's just, I'm not even going to try to find a useful, it's just, you can't jump to the moon, can you? Right? You can't, or as I put also in that letter, it doesn't make any sense to get on the subway in New York City and hope to get off in the light bejeweled hinterlands of Laos. Right? And by the way, I've got to stop saying so much. I watched last night's video. I said, if every time Matt says, was a drinking game, you'd all be in trouble. Anyway, so Josh, I told you that those temple sessions were okay. So there were, I don't know how many mics. There were these rafters in the Buddha Hall, and Lance, rhymes with chance. Give me a chancy boy. Look at that. How can you be a drunken retard when you have a little life like this to take care of? You know, this is where I got chance. Lance was the dear friend who engineered the Temple album and also played a fair bit of virtuosic guitar. And it was Lance from whom I adopted Chance just like a week over a year ago. I'm scratching his belly, and he's liking it. Okay, buddy, time to go back. All right. Oh. Okay. He's okay. So, the Buddha Hall had these big, huge wooden rafters, and I remember us trying to sling overhead mics over these, and they were like 15 feet off the ground easily. I forget how we got them slung over the overhead mics, room mics, And didn't have a drum kit? I built a makeshift drum kit out of traditional Korean drums, and I never forget the drummer came down on the bus. He didn't know anything. He just knew he was going to play drums, and there were no rehearsals. And I had song sheets for everybody, and I had a few minutes to give everybody the idea of get it in their heads. This is what's about to go down. And but he looked at it was a standing drum kit. There was no stool, and he's like, "What the hell? There's no cymbals." I said, "Yeah. Exactly. There's no cymbals." His name was Stu. He was such a good guy. Stu. He was really tall and lanky, and he just, I just never forget. He had a big grin, big uncomfortable grin, and he's like, "What am I supposed to do with this? It doesn't have any cymbals." I said, "Yeah, but the drums have rivets, and they've got metal rivets, brass rivets all around them, and ropes, and all kinds of shit that you can hit. Just hit other scrape and rims and hit other stuff, just not cymbals." And he ran with it, and he quickly warmed up to it. I think he had fun. So anyway, Josh, this is for you, Josh. This is also for the purposes of the video, which is going to go on too damn long. But I can't help it, man. I shouldn't say that. As my rapidly aging old man used to say when I was a kid, "Can't never did anything, son. Can't never did anything." It always stuck with me. I shouldn't say I can't. It's just that, I don't know. All right. Maybe I just don't want to curtail my excesses. All right. The reason I decided to go ahead and do this is, all right, so the colors that you see in this studio cam, the lighted keyboard, there's a reason, and the mouse, the mouse pad has slowly morphing LED lights around the rim. I've got a gaming mouse with this LED light. My Boss RT20 rotary speaker cabinet emulation pedal has these swirling, rotating lights. Look at my channel. Look at the banner. I surround myself with, color-wise, with my production values. And if you listen to the songs I've posted so far, I'm working on an album. And the album is, the way it's shaping up, it's going to be like my last album, the one I'm about to play a bit of here, in a different way. All right, so, and I'm talking about colors, color-wise, but now I'm also talking about power. I think I might call this one Airwindows and the Art of Power. Okay, so here up on this on the screen here, I'm just going to go ahead and get myself out of the way. There is the cover art for the album. This is a painting that was is a painting of an artist friend of mine from Estonia. His name is Toomas Altnurma, and Toomas provided this painting for the cover of my. He heard the album. I asked him if he would help me out with the cover art, and he said, "Well, I have to hear album, man." So I sent it to him, and he listened to it, and this is what he sent me. He said, "I think this is your cover, man." And he's right. I think Tomas is synesthetic as well, because these are the colors of that album. It's astounding to me. These are the colors of that album. All right. Now, I'm not ready to dox myself yet to everyone. Josh, you're an exception, and if I had your email address, I'd probably just send you the whole thing. I trust you. But so here's a bit of it. All right, and actually, if you really care, I'm not you, Josh, but anyone who with the curiosity and intent and a few basic skills can dox me at this point. I've given enough clues, and once I play the song, it's enough for anyone to, nobody cares anyway. But anyway, yeah, okay. Here we go. I'm just gonna play the song. Let me find. Let me see now. I'm not putting it. Right, let me see here. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Oh, God. Wait a minute. Did I dox myself? No, I didn't dox myself. Okay, I still get confused by this OBS, but I'm an old man. Okay, I'm just trying to minimize we're not going to make it too easy. All right, here it is. The point that I wanted to make was, by the way, just so you know, someone out there on YouTube put my album up and they described it thusly. This album is an incredible mixture of influences, a perfect blend of classic rock and traditional instruments / sounds. Add to all of that very nice esoteric lyrics. And the whole cast of characters is listed here. Yeah, anyway. It didn't go unlistened to. It just fell between the cracks. All right? And Josh, you're going to hear the mistakes. This was one take. Of course, it was only me. Oh, and I'll show you the... So I was playing I was playing this guitar. Now I'm going to have to... All right. All right. I was playing... this National Reselectric with a really hot souped up P90 pickup and a Highlander piezo pickup through a Ross distortion pedal. An original Ross distortion pedal from the late 70s. You know? Eddie Van Halen's Brown Sound. I'm not the only one with synesthesia. Lots of people have synesthesia. I'm nothing special. And I was playing that guitar through a vintage Ross distortion pedal into a point-to-point wired Fender Vibrolux. It was a reissue, but it was point-to-point wired like the originals. And that amp didn't have particularly nice feedback. All right, at least when I played it, it didn't. So you can hear me wrestling with that. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to play this thing, and then I'm going to tie it into Josh. Yes, the remix of Maybe I'm Cursed is coming up after this because these are related. So I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to get away from this mic to sip my beverage, my cola, and toke on my vape because this microphone has no mute button. Sounds pretty good too, though, doesn't it? Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to play it. Here it is. So, yeah, come to the point. So 16-track console into a DAT recorder. And I presume the DAT is long gone. So all I'm left with is wave files at best. Okay, here it is. Let me see, where is it? Here it is. Okay. Which one am I going to play? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I got to pause it and figure something out real quick. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. And by the way, this is not a super over-compressed album. It's not very loud. And that was on purpose. The system volume is at max. YouTube volume is at max. This is as loud as it gets. All right. Enough preamble. Where's the... All right, here it is. All right. That's it. Oh, God. No encore. All right. That is from the Temple album. I think that's song number 6. Last song on the first side. The first side is it the Valley of the Shadow of Death or the Shadow of the Valley of Death? And the second side is the dawn and into the light. So that's it. And that's very black and dark umber. Very, very dark sound. And it was recorded in darkness with in that big Buddha hall with just a few flickering candles. And as I was wrangling with feedback, just trying not to let it. It's just trying to hold it together and keep it from flying out of control. And I can remember sitting there with that guitar, and Lance's face is like this far from my own. And he's just like, he's saying, hold it. He's mouthing, hold it together, hold it together, hold it together. Or something like that. And yeah, it was one take. So it's, the first side's a lot of kind of a real John Lee Hooker vibe. One chord songs. And oh God, where am I going? Where do I go? Yeah. Darkness, real dark. So this is, right now, I'm speaking to Josh and maybe a handful of others that are following this convoluted narrative. So fast forward a number of years, and didn't do music for many years. Was too drunk to do music for many years. Too drunk and sorrowful, and dealing with bouts of schizophrenia. Yeah, full disclosure. Knowing that I was schizophrenic, fully aware that I was schizophrenic. And so the song Maybe I'm Cursed was written during a raging bout of schizophrenia. And as I put in that recent letter, I wrote it as a kind of prayer of a reverse psychology prayer to a God that knows more about what I'm up to than I ever could. But I do it anyway, because that's what I have to do things anyway. And I couldn't record that. So that was over 10 years ago, and I couldn't record it until recently. Wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. It wasn't ready. And so I And I had it was occasioned by, I did it for my younger brother who's going through a really dark time in his life. And it just came together. But one thing that I noticed right away, it took a day, really. I mastered it, did the finishing touches the second day. And it was all right there, as far as I could tell. And sure enough, I put it up on YouTube, and people responded. I mean, it's up around 2,000 views. Most of my what I put up gets anywhere between 10 and 50 views, right? And so when the dust settled and I had a finished track, I was like, man, this is like silver. This is silver. It's silver with, it's not even, a little bit of chrome. Silver. And so when I made the video, I used mostly black and white grayscale. And so now, so I did a video on obscenely long 2.5-hour video on this thing called Airwindows. Airwindows is a plug-in suite designed by a genius who has a very contrarian way of doing things, and like me, he wants to help people get their analog sound as close as possible to, get their digital sound as close as possible to analog. Although he's a genius. He's very highly technical about it. I don't understand all of his explanations, and I can't explain all the details, but I decided to go back to Maybe I'm Cursed with Airwindows plugins, with a focus on one called Console Zero. And I thought I understood what Console Zero was really about, but then earlier tonight I watched his 25-minute explication of it, and I realized, you know what? I didn't follow his protocols. He has very specific protocols for how you are to use Console Zero. And first and foremost of which is that you're supposed to track and mix and master in 96 kilohertz, which I don't, because it eats up so much disk space. And from everything that I've ever read, for most intents and purposes, there's no way you're ever going to tell any difference between 96 and 48. And I always try to read and listen to people who really know what they're talking about. And they always said, well, there are some exceptions with certain tools, certain situations, and if you really know what you're doing, you might want to consider 96 kilohertz. And so I was like, well, that doesn't apply to me. So I just, 48, it is. All right, so this song is tracked and mixed in 48K. And in his blurb on Console Zero, Chris, the creator, said, to get everything out of this, you need to do it in 96K. But if you do it down to 48 or 44.1, is that right? 44.1? Anyway, He said it's going to sound darker. You're not going to get, you're going to lose brightness. And then for a while I kind of tinkered with it. And now, so one thing I'm trying to do is burnish the some of the high end off of digital. When you really push a DAW the way I do, you get a lot of high treble frequencies that I can't stand. I don't like them. Now, one thing that Console Zero did right off the bat was it just kind of burnished and burnished those burrs right off. And I really liked that about it. But at the same time, it was causing certain things to get sort of buried. And I wasn't willing to make the trade-off. And so I used other tools in his kit. And it's always compromises, right? But then I got to thinking, okay, it's darker if you. And then I was working with some of his other tools. It's like EQs and filters that technically are not EQs, nor are they technically filters. They act like EQs and filters in certain ways, but they don't act like EQs and filters in other ways. And the short way to put that is that, how can you put it in a short way? Okay, so you can use them to enhance the mids or attenuate the trebles, roughly like an EQ, but it's just the attenuations and the enhancements are different. And to understand that, you have to sit down and work with it yourself. But one thing I noticed with these EQs and filters that are not EQs and filters is that they added energy and power. Now, normally I think of power in a mix and clarity as a balance. In other words, power and clarity are there are two things that I like power, I like clarity. I value both more or less equally. But there are different kinds of clarity and there are different kinds of power. And I've talked about the different kinds of power. I don't think I've really talked about the different kinds of clarity. Really quickly. Okay, so real quickly. One kind of clarity comes from the sort of conventional wisdom of using EQ and multiband compression and things like that to separate parts in the arrangement in the stereo field, in the audio field, 360. Not only EQ and dynamic compression, dynamic EQ, certain kinds of compression, but there are also other tools. And I've done, listen to my USB connection, listen to Million Mile Gaze, right? Those are mixes, those are songs that are fully this Studio Chem color value, production value, that, fully within, completely under the glass 0.0 ceiling, you know. Beautiful digital audio is like, it's kind of like, all right, it's like this. I remember one time, this analogy comes from a conversation that I had with an engineer one time, a real engineer. And it's like, great, you know, really good digital audio. It's like, you know, you're seeing a beautiful bear or other animal, you know, right up and really close, like right up face to face with it, but it's in a zoo behind a pane of glass. And you might get a sense of the power. So let's say it's a gorilla. And let's say the gorilla takes a run to the pane of glass and hurls itself at the glass. And you're going to sort of jump back and you're going to feel there's a part of you that's going to recoil. You're going to feel that power, but it's not the same as really being face to face with a gorilla. And, you know, that's one way to put the difference between digital and analog. You know, with analog, you know, yeah, you might be, I said, you know, again. Gotta stop doing that. So, power and clarity. Another kind of clarity is, which I've been learning about with my turning the corner into more of a shoegaze sound. It's a more subtle kind of clarity of textures. It takes a different kind of attention, both to manifest it and to discern it and hear it and appreciate it. So, now, often I find it necessary to make compromises. I sacrifice a little bit of clarity for a little bit of power, or I sacrifice a little bit of power for a little bit more clarity. It's a running theme in my workflow. And now I find a certain kind of power and a certain kind of clarity converging. And concurrent with that convergence is a marked change in the color. All right. Maybe I'm cursed was silver, and now it is as black. Well, it's black. It's pretty black. It's midnight, 2 weeks up the Annapurna circuit in the Himalaya, in a village in Nepal with no electricity and no combustion engines. Only starlight. That's how black it is. Maybe I'm cursed. And the power that it has. Okay, so I road tested it in the car today. I took the long-suffering missus out for a nice long road, not long, but yeah, I did a live stream. I did my first YouTube live stream on my cell phone from a war memorial park up near the DMC. Just wanted to see if when I first started out, I couldn't do that, but now I can. And like 4 people started watching, and it went on for about like 7 minutes. And I had 4 people watching, and somebody even gave the thumbs up. Anyway, I refrained from road testing, maybe I'm cursed, until the very end of the road trip when we were on the way home, and she had just been really worn out from the Korean Thanksgiving holiday here. We hosted a lot of in-laws, and she worked really hard, and she was just enervated, and she's terrified of that song. The silver mix just unnerves her. She could just, she's sensitive. She's a sensitive lady. And so I didn't want to do that to her. But on the way home, we were driving south, and there's a beautiful, beautiful sunset over on the right. I said, I got to do something here, honey. Just pay attention to that beautiful sunset right there, okay? I'm going to have this real low. I'm not going to turn it up loud, okay? It's all right. And so I'm going down the highway at, I don't know, 70, 80 kilometers an hour. Not too fast, but still, there's road noise and it's rumble. It's not a big car, but still it's highway noise. Man, vocal tics, verbal tics. Okay. So I turned it on, and here's one of my tests to know if a mix is up to my standards. Okay. I listened to it through a lot of cheap shit. I listened to it through. Now I still haven't run this black mix through my Kurzweil monitors. I'll do that tomorrow, maybe. But here's one of the final litmus tests. If I can cue it up in the car, going down the freeway, and have it down, let's say the volume goes all the way up to 35, and if I can have it down to volume 9, and I can still make out the main parts, the instruments, the main instruments, in this case, the guitars, the wall of guitars, the bass, the pulse of the drums, or at least the implied pulse of the drums, the drum loops, and most importantly, the vocals. If I can make that out at volume 9, barreling down the highway, then I know that it's almost there, if not all the way there. And it's pretty quiet, and I could hear it. Even the added vocal things that I tracked the other night, could just hear it clear as anything. And she looked at me like she couldn't believe I put that on, and she just covered her ears and scrunched down and stared at the sunset. And I chose to be, I was a good boy all day, and I took care of her. I said, come on, you're being dramatic. Come on, it's just a song. I think she was kind of being a bit dramatic. Otherwise, I don't think I was being cruel or anything. I think she was sort of making a show out of it, which is why I just let it play. I didn't turn it up, though. So, Josh, thank you for expressing your interest in hearing this. This is the black mix. And I'm even going to A-B them. I haven't done this myself. I'm going to A-B them. So, maybe I'm cursed new master. Maybe I'm cursed master. We're going to go with that one. New master. Okay, I figured out the issue. I think. Thank goodness. I had to change my driver profile in Cakewalk from Wasapi shared to Wasapi, or from Wasapi exclusive to Wasapi shared. And now there's a lag here and between audio and video in OBS. And that's just, maybe it'll clear up. Anyway, I'm back, and let's see, track 1, let's just rename these. Track 1 is Black. That's the new mix. And track 2 is Silver. That's the one that is currently up on YouTube. Look at the waveforms. In the original, look, one, I can't remember which one is left and which one is right, but one's a little bit thicker than the other at the beginning. Overall, Silver looks a little bit fatter. And it's just, I haven't done this yet. I haven't A-B'd it, but it has been my feeling that the new mix is darker, much darker, and more powerful. Hang on, I gotta pause it again real fast. I just remembered something. Hang on. All right, back again. I just had to make sure I wasn't going to run into a certain issue. Okay, so again, I haven't A-B'd these yet. And so I'm kind of, this is a moment for me, actually. My sense is that Silver, it has more space, more transparency. It's silver. It has less power. It has more clarity. It has less power. But Black, yes, darker. It has less spaciousness. It has a lot more power, and it has a different kind of clarity. It has more, textural clarity, and which is the texture and the power are not tied together. They are two sides of the same coin. I don't even know if that's the best way to put it. Josh, you let me know what you think, man. And I want to say, so this is on the one hand, it's kind of like going back to the old days of the Temple album. So that darkness that I got on that Temple album, now it's digital analog, a digital audio tape, DAT, right? But, you know, it has an analog vibe about it. It's analog to me. It's an analog sound. And, and that blackness, that darkness is to me an analog. And the Temple recordings have a certain kind of power that I associate with analog and not digital. I didn't think that this power was feasible in digital without, I just didn't think to have this kind of power, and it's hard to talk about. It's hard to explain. This kind of power, not other kinds of power, this particular kind of power, which is coming from the Airwindows plugins. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, I hate to use a hackneyed analogy, but it's kind of like trying to explain colors to someone who's never seen light. It sounds condescending. I don't mean it that way. I'm not saying that you're blind and I can see and I'm trying to, no, it's not like that. It's just that it's really hard to find words. You have to feel it, hear it, and feel it. And that requires not only a certain kind of sensibility, it requires certain kind of sensibility, and it requires frames of reference and the ability to, if not verbalize the associations, but to be able to experience them. Doing a terrible job of explicating this. Anyway, I'm going to play the intro to Silver. This is what you hear on YouTube. Josh, this is what you've heard so far. So I'm going to solo Silver, and I'm going to turn off the Airwindows effects rack. So this is from, this is a Silver mix. All right, that's enough of that. Toward the end of that part, you could hear that pulsate, that guitar part coming in. That's key to the black mix. So I said I was just going to do the intro. I'm going to play just the intro part, just the first 10 seconds again. And then I'm going to do it in the black mix. All right, now let's, here's black.
Maybe
All right. So you can hear why the waveform is not as fat as silver. Where's it peaking? It's peaking at 0.0. Where is silver peaking? Hang on, let's make sure it's peaking there. All right, well, I remember if you play it all the way through, it peaks out at 0.0. Where is silver peaking? I think it stays at minus 0.3 from beginning to end. I'm pretty sure it does. Now, I think this is an averaging algorithm in the dB meter, so actually clicking around like that not a good indication. You have to let it go for a few seconds and average out the peaks and give you a reading. So anyway, let's go to the, let's listen to the first solo. Josh, you remember I described the way I kind of visualized that, the way I mixed it, the way I saw it in my mind. And so, yeah, black. Okay, so silver while we're on it. Solo. Actually peaking around negative 1.3, 1.4. I forgot. There's the peaks come in the beginning. That's right. Okay. That's right. So let's go back to black. Here's the same solo in black. Okay, you can see this peaking at negative 0.1, same section. Silver's peaking around negative 1.4, 1.3. Black's peaking at negative 0.1. This is a much denser sound. It doesn't have all that space in it, but it has this, God, in the car, man, it has this propulsive quality to it. So I'm feeling kind of ambivalent about it now that I sit down and I A/B the two. I like silver. and I like black. I think black is going a little bit too far. Now, black is not just, it's not just the mastering stage, which is all these Airwindows plugins. It's also things I did in the mixing stage with Airwindows plugins. And I applied console 0 in the mixing stage. In the master bus in the mixing stage, I used console 0. In the mastering stage, I used a different console. I used Purist Console Bus. And that's a different animal altogether. So now I need to go through here and do some more listening, and I'm going to go ahead and just A/B the mastering plugins on and off right now. Just going to hit, let's see. Let's go back to the beginning. And I'm just going to A/B as I play back. Here is my mouse cursor. Here is on, and there's off. On, off. So let's start with off. On. Well, the difference is just monstrous, isn't it? Isn't it? Is it over the top? Is it too much? It never goes over 0.0. Technically, it's not over the top. But that's technically. Where does that whumping sound come from at the beginning? I'm just going to kind of go into some of these plugins. This is going to be another long one. What can I say? Either you're into it or you're not. And if you're battling the booze monster, the booze demon, the booze vampire, you need stuff like this to focus on, to get your mind off of that. You need a friend. You need to hang out with. You need someone to hang out with who's been through it and doesn't do it anymore. That's what I'm here for. That's why I started this. So no, I'm not apologizing anymore for going on long. No, I'm not doing it anymore. This is what I do, and I do it for. This is why I do it. This is why I started the fucking channel. I think universe is reminding me of a mission purpose. I get waylaid sometimes. As we all do, I'm sure. Not all of us. Some people don't get waylaid. I do. Here, let's A/B them without the mastering plugins. Okay, so silver. That's enough. Black. Right off the bat, I favor silver. If I'm going to be quite honest. But there's something about this. And what is that whumping thing at the beginning? That would be, there's an orbit kick. Oh boy. I'm going to have to go through these. Creature. That's creature. Creature. Where's creature? Is that creature? Yeah, that's creature. Creature. Number 3, creature. See if I bypass that. Oh, wait a minute. It's not creature? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, that's not creature. That's orbit kick, which I'm misusing. All right, so I kind of got waylaid from that. I did not adhere to Airwindows Chris's protocols when I used Console 0. You know, as with so many things, I'm not technical. I don't understand all the technical details. I just use my ears, and I go by what I'm feeling and the colors and all that. But Chris is down with that. You know, he says, you know, you may want to use it at lower sampling rates for other things that, you know, you might be after. Chris is very cool that way. He's just like, if you want to use it the way I intended it, do it this way. Okay. So I have an idea. So, and again, here's with oh man, that power. I just can't get enough of that power. Black, silver, you know, I like both. I like the spaciousness of the silver mix. So, you know, like here's one thing that occurs to me to try. Why the hell not? Let's go to our volume faders and let's bring them both down to -5 and play them at the same time. I'm just guessing -5. I don't know. I did this before with one other song, which I'm going to post a remix to. Passing Through. Yeah. Oh man, that's a rabbit hole that I went down and finally gave up. But it's been a good 10 weeks, so I may go back to that. It started like this, though. I liked 2 different mixes, and I decided to try this. So, okay. Yeah, both are playing at once. But, okay, that was way too far to bring them down. Oh, wait a minute. What was I doing, dummy? All right. You see what decades of alcohol abuse does? Okay, silver is down to -5, black is down to -5. Peaking at -0.6, not a bad guess. Not a bad guess. Let me hang on here. Let's go into console view. Now we got black and silver side by side. And let's play with the volume faders and let's blend them. See what happens. Here's master over here, off to the right. Damn. What the hell's going on here? Hang on. Mute. Oh, that's what's going on. I'm running both of them through the master bus. Oh. Okay, I know what I got to do to make this work. I got to pause it again. Be right back. Okay, so here's what I did. Are we rolling again? Yeah, okay. Here's what I did. I saved this effects chain as a preset. And I created a bus called plugins, and I loaded that preset. So all of these plugins are now loaded into a bus as a preset. Okay? And so now, I've disabled this effects rack in the master bus channel. Now, I go back to console, and here are my sends. I send to plugins, and I send to plugins. Now, I can blend the degree to which silver and black are being subjected to the final Airwindows power treatment. First, I'm going to start off by just disabling the send on silver and leaving. This is what I wanted to do in the first place, but my alcohol Dane Bramaged processor wasn't thinking. Okay. So this should be, all right, let's bring this back down to, again, -5, and see what we get. Okay. Okay, master's peaking at 3.6. So I'm going to bring them down to -7.7, -7.7. Yeah, come on. All right. This is -7.7, -7.9. That's interesting. That's interesting. All right. Well, the send bus is not behaving like the mastering bus. Yeah, that stands to reason in a way. Let me see. Yeah, that is disabled, just in case. All right, so solo. Here's what I'm going to try. I'm going to bring silver up. Bring silver up to minus, 2.7. And leave black down at 7.7. See what happens on solo silver. All right. I think, this is obviously not concluded yet. And, I'm going to I'm getting tired. It's an hour and a half. So, enough. Let's see. What time is it? 10:59. See, the next step would be to, why not? Let's keep going. I can save as. So I'm going to delete all these. Okay. And in the master channel, I'm going to put the only hard limiter that I will use, which is an Airwindows. limiter. Clipping. One corner clip. Let's read the blurb. Why not? Not the whole thing. Why not? Okay. Spreads out the onset to clipping over possibly many samples. They converge upon the maximum possible output, which means the front edge of a clip takes on a continuous curve, moving its energy down into lower frequencies where the clippage is less bright and gritty and more brutal and ballsy. Then, on departing the clip, the waveform just snaps instantly to the next unclipped value with no attempt to soften. So your wave shaping ends up getting one corner on departing the clip and one rounded onset entering the clip. I don't understand that. But, I don't let that get in my way. What this means is, see, he always breaks it down for people like me. I love Chris. What this means is you can smash this with bass and it'll remain bassy. Smash it with mid-range and it'll be MIDI. It shapes itself to the needs of your track, the distortion taking on the character of what you're putting in. And that means you can slam stuff absurdly hard through this while retaining character. And you can retain size and scale and depth. Okay, I'm sold. All right, so I'm going to insert this into the new master bus channel, and I'm going to go back and play the blend of silver and black, and it shouldn't clip anymore over here in the master. There we go. See? Josh, I'm liking what I hear, man. Okay, so I'm not going to belabor this right now. This is something that I'm going to need to spend a few more hours on. Perhaps, a couple hours here, a couple hours there. I have to spread it out over a few days, possibly longer. Josh, I'm curious to know what you think. Not to, and by the way, Josh, I don't mean to lean on you or anything, really. I know that everybody's got a life, and so. But I do, of course, value your input, your feedback. But this is what I'm working with now. I think I'm going to run with this, man. This is not turning out like the other experiment with blending two masters. This is really good so far. And I'm just going to leave it there for right now. Okay? And so here's, oh geez, wait. Yeah. God, I got to pause again. Hang on. Yeah, I've decided I'm going to go the distance. There's no point in breaking this up into a separate video. Yeah, I'm going to continue. I'm going to save as, let me see. Maybe I'm cursed. There's master and there's also a new master. Oh man, I'm going to call it, maybe I'm cursed, silver black master. Okay. So this is new mastering file. Okay. Cursed silver black master. out. And back to Cursed Master. Maybe I'm cursed. Yeah, I'm going to go with New Master. Wait a minute. No, that's not the right one either. Hang on. I see. Maybe I'm cursed New Master. Maybe I'm cursed Master. That's what I got. Right. So, all right. Yeah, I'm going to leave silver there. I didn't save it after I renamed them, but again, that's silver. We're not going to listen to silver anymore for this final stretch of this. So just to emphasize, we're focusing on black and delete track. Oh, God. Oh. A little shit like this just... I have anger issues over tiny little things. Okay. Black. And no need to solo anymore. Now, what's going on here? Why this, frankly... Okay, man, like, is it over the top? Possibly, yeah, but to me, it's the power and the energy, the propulsive power, and the just the brick shithouse energy of that is so exhilarating to me that I have to have it. Maybe not at any cost, but I have to have it. So what's going on here? I'm just going to go through these plugins one by one. And this shouldn't take too long, actually. But just to give you some idea of what these plugins are about and how I'm using them to generate that power. Okay? First plugin is TDR Nova. If you don't have TDR Nova, get it. And this is just a dynamic EQ curve. Okay, and it looks really cool. All right, so if you don't know what that's about, it's not difficult to figure out. You know, it's just selectively compressing certain areas of the spectrum there that you adjust, you know. On to Airwindows. First, we've got Orbit Kick. Do I read through the blurbs? Yeah. If you've seen, this is educational, and if you've seen modern recording, you've probably seen a little drum-like object in front of bass drums. This device is a sub-kick. It's basically an NS10 woofer hung in front of the kick so it can be knocked around by subsonic bass waves and transfer that to electricity for recording. It might or might not be an actual drum shell. Needs to be recorded with an actual preamp. These can have very high output though, and access just another mic, but one that captures the very deepest bass in conjunction with your full drum kit and all of your other mics. But what if you could do that without the pre, and also without the little drum shell, and without the NS10 speaker, and for that matter, without the drum kit, just deep bass subs like a kick drum or on anything? Enter Orbit Kick. This is basically a little physical simulation like a planet orbiting a sun, When your input sound hits, it kicks this thing into orbit and it just spins, gradually slowing down as its orbit gets bigger and bigger. It's a little like a second order sine wave in that it's one of those Airwindows things that can get out of hand, which is what the controls were for. Yeah. And then he talks about what the controls do. Okay. And that's what you can hear the orbit that he's talking about. Can you hear that? You can hear the seed of that when you can hear that envelope deep down in that mix, you know. So what did I accomplish with the console zero mix? You would think that it sucked some life out of that silver mix, and it did. It did. It also took away some of that digital coldness that I'm on a mission to expunge. Okay? Silver is a cold color, not a warm color. It's fine. I love silver. I've got real silver. I think it's a beautiful metal. I think it's a beautiful color. But, you know, it's ice. Ice is silver. Can be. And, you know, I just took out, it was an experiment in a way. And the idea was to sacrifice some of that space and some of that clarity in return for a more analog sound. Let's put it that way. And then the idea was to compensate for the loss of energy in the mastering stage with these plugins. That was the experiment. And it worked. And it's just not the same thing as a silver mix, which a lot of people responded to. So, but I'm not going to let that color my aims and objectives. You know, in the end, I don't care that that video got 2,000 views. I don't care, really, because my objectives are my objectives, and that's 2,000 people that probably most of them didn't even finish it, but and some of the people that liked it might even dig this even more. I don't know, and why should I even worry about it? My objectives and my goals are my objectives and my goals. So, yeah, you can hear what's triggering Orbit Kick to do its thing. Orbit Kicks is bringing that out. I think it's rad. That's the 80s kid in me. Rad. I can't believe I actually just said that. I use the word gnarly a lot, but I have a very specific meaning for that word, gnarly. If you're, seriously, if you're struggling with alcohol, this is, I really do, this was the idea in the beginning, just to go on for hours if need be. And fuck the algorithm, and fuck YouTube, and fuck the whole game. And I kind of lost sight of that for a while. I admit, I did. Yeah, I've got an ego, and there's a part of me that wants recognition from people and wants people to like me. Yeah, that's in me too. But, I really hope that sign works, and I some other dude in his 50s, or younger or older, doesn't matter, but, burnt out on the whole boost thing. really in need of something else, because you have to replace it with something. And you might be, not the type for AA, which is me. You may not like hanging out with strangers. Just like drinking black coffee and chain smoking cigarettes and telling their horror stories over and over and over and over again. Wallowing in the past. What you really need is to hang out with people that have been through it and gone beyond it, and can show you what it's like. You can do it. Show you what's on the other side. Give you a taste. This is a taste of what's on the other side. At least 3-4 nights a week. This is what I do until the sun comes up, and I'm just like genuinely tired, and I fall asleep like a baby. And I'm productive. I'm on a journey. I'm a journey. I don't use that word anymore. That word has been appropriated by the purple hairs and the sentimentalists. I'm on a fucking mission here, man. All right? And I really want to be of service to somebody who, this saved my life. So, story, but as long as I'm going on at length, and I'm hopefully, if you're the kind of person I'm looking to connect with, you need it. Here it is. But what finally got me to finally stop was I ended up in the hospital. I needed surgery for an injury that I got from falling down drunk, and I'm in Korea. People are more circumspect about these things, but the doctors, they did complete blood work. Luckily, I didn't have any issues with my liver, but the surgery had to be postponed for a while because I entered the hospital in hypertensive crisis. They were really worried. They thought that they were amazed that I hadn't had a stroke, and it was really made clear to me that I had to stop. And this is what got me through the long nights, where at any time of the night I could walk 5 minutes in that direction, and for $2 I could just buy enough booze to just go off into La La Land and sit around, touch my dick, and watch movies on the Russian internet until I finally pass out. So easy. Yeah. This is what kept me from doing that, from giving in. This is all part of it. You're just, if I got you in with that sign, you're kind of like, and you're still here, and you're wondering, what is this? Maybe I got you because the lighting is good for maybe you're hanging out, wondering who's this Josh guy and who's he talking to and what is this all about? If you totally new to all this, go back and start. You just got to start somewhere. And then you come up to speed. You could be part of this conversation. It doesn't take as long as you might think. I save you a lot of time and learning curves, frustration. I think I do. Anyway, creature. Creature is a soft slew saturator, a new class of noise changer. So here's something new. Didn't exist before, even I didn't have it. Creature is a soft slew saturator. It's a way of working with applying a sine function to slew clipping. In fact, it applies an unbounded sine function whatever the parentheses is, I have no clue. So it might be technically considered a slew wave folder, because that's what everybody needed, was a slew wave folder. How useful, nerdy, and pointless. Not so much. Listen to this little monster. What creature really does is roar. As you keep adding depth, the gain and the thunder increase unreasonably. The total force on tap is pretty ridiculous. See? Force. Thunder. He doesn't use these terms, these words lightly. The guy means what he fucking says. It keeps getting harder to control as you turn it up. There's an INV control right here. INV what? Inverse maybe? Invert. That can give you a really interesting cancellation that acts like a high passish, but not like any high pass you've ever heard. Okay, so there's no overdrive, there's EQ, there's no high pass. He always says, it's like, it is this, but it isn't. It is an EQ, but it's not. It is a filter, but it's not. It's just creature, which is very much its own beast. It's also a very, very simple algorithm. Isn't that so often the way? So especially at low depth settings, all this monstrousness can be yours for almost no CPU. I'll be finding ways to put this to use, but as always, you've got it fresh from the plug-in forges. Be careful and have fun with your new creature. I love Chris. He probably wouldn't love me, but I love him. Creature. Let's hear it, AB. This is doing something really subtle. I'm using it subtractively more than additively. Listen to the cymbal sounds. Attune your ears to that frequency of the drum cymbals. And listen to the AB. This is on, this is off. On. Listen to it with the vocal. This is why I used it. Hear the diff? I'll just play it through the verse, and I'll bypass it and engage it. Listen to what it's doing with the trebles in the vocal track. Okay? It's taking away something that irritates me, frequency-wise. It's not about color, although it is. Okay, so it's not all black. The vocals are not. The vocals are still silver, but just a little bit too shiny for me. I'll start bypassing creature. It's also adding a little bit of energy to to the bass ranges, but it's taking away a certain harshness, presence in the presence range. And it's taking away some clarity that goes with that presence. I'm willing to sacrifice that. Maybe, but I might go back to it and adjust it and tweak it. I think maybe I took away a little bit too much. I think I overdid it a little bit. Let's move on to tape 6. I think I might have this at the wrong place in the chain. It's tape emulation. I'm not going to read through it's a tape machine emulator. And okay, again, I'm not even finished with this mastering job. I got to go back through these plugins and twiddle the knobs again. And this is far from over, okay? But I'm just going to... This is a tape machine emulator done the Airwindows way. It's Airwindows guy. It's not like any other tape emulator plugin that you've ever used or heard. So anyway, there it is. It's number 4 in the chain. Well, there's the bypass right there, isn't it? Yeah. Bypass. On. See that? Holy shit, man. Just, if you don't hear what that's doing, then I'm not even gonna. If you don't hear what that's doing, I don't know what to tell you. Tube 2. Tube saturation. I can't read through all these. Tube saturation. Harmonics, tube harmonics. If you don't know anything about this at this point, if you're just a drunk holding on for dear life and looking for something, oh, by the way, my email is in my channel information. You can reach out to me. I'm really trying to be here to help people, if I can. It's kind of presumptuous to try to help people, I know. But I'm obeying a directive, okay? If you don't know what this is about, you'll learn. The important thing is that you like and appreciate audio. If you have any kind of audio file within you, and especially if you came up in the days before digital audio with the sounds of the 60s, 70s, 80s, there I go with this is what that's about. That's what this is about. And you pick it up as you go along. Let's say ABS number 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. Yeah. So we're just going to AB that. That's adding some brightness, but warm brightness, not chilly, icy digital brightness. That's adding an orange glow, a yellowish, or a very warm yellow. It's astounding to me. I used the color yellow. And cumulatively, this is a very dark black sound. Not totally black, but it's pretty dark. But I'm using the word yellow to describe the tonality of what it's adding. Okay, on to sweeten. Second harmonic. Okay, so there's this thing called harmonic distortion. Again, if you don't know what this is all about, you know what distortion is. You know what that sounds like. And there are different kinds of distortion. When talking specifically about like guitar distortion, there's different kinds. All different, so many different kinds, right? And some kinds of distortion are more pleasing than others, and pleasing to different tastes, right? Second harmonic distortion is just universally pleasing to the human ear and brain. It's quite subtle. It can be overdone, but it's not being overdone here. Let's A-B it. That's number 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I prefer to A-B them over here. And they're all called Airwindows, right? Because this is one composite plugin UI with many different plugins within it, right? So they're all just called Airwindows. So I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is sweeten. This one's really, really subtle. I can hardly, maybe I can't hear it at all. I'm just kind of adding it because the brain can pick up on it, even if unconsciously. This is psychoacoustics. I'm adding it for psychoacoustic purposes as much as anything. Let's A-B it. I can hear a difference. Listen to the word cursed. Maybe I'm cursed. Maybe listen to the word cursed. Listen to what's called the sonority in the vowel of that word cursed as being sung by yours truly. Sweeten is 6. Okay, listen to it with and without sweeten. Here's without. Cursed. Now listen to it with. It's just a little bit easier on the ear. So, again, if you can't hear that right away, don't worry about it. I can hear things like that. And I've got a serious hearing impediment in my left ear. No doubt brought out, one of the many things brought about by alcohol abuse probably had something to do with it. Okay. Sweeten, yeah, it does little things that you notice throughout playback. You listen to it all the way through with and without. You just notice little things like the sonority of the vowel in cursed sounds a little sweeter. With the sweeter. Sweeten. Okay, moving on to number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slew 2. Slew 2 is one that I use to remove irritating treble frequencies that abound in my DAW production, particularly with vocals. And that partly has to do with my digital, my USB microphones. The Yeti in particular, this guy right here on my right, the Yeti. This new one right here that I'm using for this video It's much smoother. It sounds like the radio. I might not have to, if I start tracking more and more with this thing, I might not have to use this plugin as much. I'm not going to read the blurb. It's too technical, and I'm just going to tell you what it does, the way I use it, and we'll A/B it. Is that it? Slew 2, yeah, right there. 5 from the bottom. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there, da da, where the rhythm guitar goes dun da. I gotta take snap off. Okay. That dun dun. Hang on, I'm gonna stretch this out of here. If anything, if you're watching me for the first time, you know, you're watching me work with this audio recording software interface, and maybe starting to learn your way around a little bit. I just used these two magnifying glass things here to stretch it out so I can dial in where I'm that dun dun right there. Right there. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here's slew 2 on, off. On. Okay. That rhythm guitar, that dun dun, it just without slew 2, it just it irritates me. And then with slew 2, I don't know. This is all highly personal, right? So, but anyway, you know, I gotta stop it. I'm taking you along for my ride, not to tell you that, guys, not to tell you that my way is the right way. This is how you, no, just to show you how it's done. These are the tools. This is how you use the tools. These are the tools that you can use. Here's how to handle them. When it comes to actually applying the tools, that is, that's where that is where you find yourself. Your real self without booze. Your expression. I'm just trying to show you how I'm using the tools and why I'm using them the way I'm using them. So you can learn your way around. It's like anything else. You got to learn the ropes. Learn your way around. Then start doing your own thing. Energy 2. This is a motherfucker right here. Hang on. This one right here. Holy shit. This is a blurb worth reading because this really sums up a lot of the Airwindows approach to things. Okay, Energy 2 is an electrifying fixed frequency treble boosts for high sample rate. All right, what does that mean? Energy 2 is energy boosts, mostly treble, but you can also bring out aggression in the mid-highs. That's what I mainly use it for. Notice he says bring out aggression in the mid-highs. Aggression. And Chris, the genius behind Airwindows, is very precise writer. He uses words with mathematical precision, as insofar as that's possible. Even when he's not writing technically, he's writing technically. That's exactly what the fuck this thing does. Bring out aggression in the mid-highs. Aggression. And that's how I used it. That's really, Silver, this has an aggression. Black mix has an aggression that Silver doesn't have. It has just a ballsy grit to it that Silver doesn't have. Silver's too pretty, man. It's not. This song is called Maybe I'm Cursed, that I wrote as a twisted prayer to God when I was in the middle of a bout of schizophrenia and basically homeless, with my long-suffering missus not even knowing where the hell I was. Luckily, I knew where I was. And I had enough experience with psychedelics to just treat it like an extended bad mushroom trip that went on for weeks. That's where that song came from, and I think that's why it terrifies the long-suffering missus, and she doesn't want to hear it. I haven't told her that's where that song comes from, but I think she fucking senses that's where it comes from. Right? And so, yeah, the Silver mix is pretty, but even that one she can't. So she's scared of it. This one, maybe I should have just turned it off in the car today. You know what? I was an asshole. Now that I think about it, I shouldn't have even turned it on. You see what an asshole I am? Now that I think about it. Now that I really think about it. God. Man. I gotta pause it. Hang on. I've trained myself when I work with my music. When I'm writing it or performing it, let's say in a live situation, or just playing it live to myself, that's an entirely different issue. But when I'm tracking it, recording it, mixing it, not as well when I'm tracking it, not so when I'm mixing it, arranging, mixing, and all that, I divorce myself emotionally. And suddenly I was taken back to that time when I wrote this song and what she went through. And I thought I was going to break down on camera. And I suddenly felt a deep sorrow in my heart for, maybe I shouldn't play that in this car today. Anyway. That's where it comes from. And the sound should, in my mind, it's not for her ears. I shouldn't have played it in the car. But the sound, it should sonically reflect where it came from, express where it came from. Yeah, okay. And it does. aggression. These are not, here's the point. These are not done through the usual means. They're a weird little algorithm that's tied to the sample rate. And the big deal with Energy 2 as an update is that it's using my undersampling. Okay, this is technical shit. When I say energy here, when I say energy boosts, but she was fine after the trip. She didn't, like, there was no fallout or anything. And when I went in to kiss her goodnight, there was no hard feelings. So there's no damage done. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. What I mean when I say energy boost, what I mean is this is not a normal EQ. You could not make the Energy 2 sound happen by mimicking the frequency curve using a pile of biquad filters, or worse yet, phase-accurate EQ. It's an entirely different algorithm, and this is what you get. Energy 2 has enormous edge and focus around attack transients. Again, if you're not familiar with this terminology, don't sweat it. You'll pick it up. Just roll up your sleeves and get into it. Stop boozing and start creating. Energy 2 has enormous edge and focus around attack transients, not smearing them with pre-ring or high Q traditional filtering, even though it produces very steep curves and isolates specific tones. Energy 2 also has a definite color in how it adds frequencies. If you're boosting upper mids with one of the lower sliders, you also get a bunch of highs along with it. Part of the sound probably shouldn't struggle to remove those overtones too hard. You can combine the sliders in weird ways to get very striking tone colors. So he's talking about synesthesia right there. He's synesthetic as fuck, Chris is. But I think Energy 2 is at its best when you focus on one color at a time. Perhaps with a little of another color added or subtracted. It's okay, you learn this language. And this is exactly what it does, though. Let me A-B it. So that's fourth from the bottom, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Energy 2. Let's A-B it. Oh, God. Let's focus in on Gone to Rust. There's Without. Again, the sonority of the vowel in Gone makes it poke out a little bit more, actually. And see, this is a very subtle thing. When you track vocals, you never get everything perfect. This is post-production on vocals, for among other things. This plugin. It's emphasizing the word gone, the sonority of the vowel in gone. Among other things. Listen to the total change as I A-B it. On, off, on. Here the second solo kicks in. No, it's the first solo, sorry. So hear the high mids kick in there and become brighter. Hear how it brightens the high mids, but not in a grating or annoying way. Very smooth. It's just how is it like? It's like it's kind of like you've got an incandescent bulb glowing, and it's like hitting a button that makes it just glow just a little bit brighter. It's like that. Listen to what it does during the solo section. All right. And look at all the controls. And look how he names them. It's really cool. Snarl. This is from like lowest to highest frequencies. Snarl. Yower. Chug. Scrape. Fizz. Rat. Glitter. Hiss. And you see how I set them. So I basically did a kind of a curve. And then here's your kind of like master blend at the end. But it's not a simple blend. It's always interactive with Chris. Okay. So that's energy 2. I wasn't too extreme with it, but you can really push it. Okay. And the next one is purest console bus. I'm not going to go into that now, but I will A/B it for you. I'll A/B it for you. Maybe I'm cursed, and you hear the sort of phasing between different vocal parts on the word cursed. Okay, there's like two main vocals parts and a backing vocal part. And they're all, of course, a little bit different. And there's a little phasing thing that happens there. Listen to without console, purest console bus. Listen to it without and with. Ooh, it's different. This one, it just, what's this one like to me? This is more about texture than color. It adds a texture. It's kind of like, all right, yeah. Today I was at a war memorial, and I live streamed it, and I'm going to make it public after I finish this, so you can go look at it. It's only like 7 minutes long, but there was a stone mural with images from the Korean War soldiers and stuff, and so it's like granite, right? With these images somehow not etched in a way, but somehow the images are put on the stone, but it's mostly glossy smooth, but when you touch the images on the stone, you can feel a little bit slight variations in the texture, the roughness. Okay. You could, if you were blind, you could feel where the soldier begins and where the soldier ends, and it's just stone. It's like that. Texture. Next is, wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. All right. Purest console bus. One corner clip. That's just a clipper. We already went through that. Just keeps it from clipping, but does it in a really cool way that brings something to the table. And finally, purest warm 2, which does exactly what the name implies. Just adds a nice analog warmth, but it does it in the Airwindows way. And Airwindows is just not like anything else. So I'm not going to A/B the clip limiter, but I'm going to A/B purest warm. Okay, I'm asking you to focus your attention in that little snippet right there. How can I describe it? There's a kind of a harpsichord-like sounding rhythm guitar part. It has a kind of a harpsichord-like sound. Can you see if you can hear it? It's very faint. It's way back there. If you can hear it, you can hear it. Harpsichord. If you know what a harpsichord sounds like a treble chord. When you pluck a treble chord of a harpsichord, it has that kind of sizzle to it. And if you can hear that, listen to that without purest warm and with. It just brings that up. In a way, it makes it a little bit more prominent, but not chilly. And in the silver mix, it's chilly as fuck. It really is. This is one thing that bothered me about not enormously, but I keep doing it. Bothered me a little bit. Purest warm resolves that, among other things. I'm just going to let this play out. Again, A/B. Before, after. Holy balls. So there it is. So the first thing is to go back and fine-tune what I've done. Fit project. There's everything in one window. The whole thing in one window. That's fit project button right there. So go back and fine-tune that mastering, the black mix and master. And then go back and blend it with silver. I really think that's where I'm going to go with it. To retain and harness the power of the black mix while retaining some of the space and clarity of the silver mix. And I think I feel good about that. I got a good feeling about it. So over 2.5 hours, and I'm not apologizing this time. These things, when you have stuff to talk about, you have stuff to talk about. And this is for a very small audience. I tried to cut through in various different ways. Like I tried going to Reddit forums for alcoholics saying, hey, this is a public service announcement. I've got a YouTube channel. I offer tutorials if you're trying to stop drinking and you need something else to fill the void. Come on over. And, you know, Reddit and other forums elsewhere, they wouldn't allow it. No self-promotion. I'm like, this is not self-promotion. I'm not promoting myself. I'm trying to help people. I'm on a mission from God. Nope. Can't do that. How do you cut through? I guess I was thinking in the shower today about using mixing as a metaphor for things in life, other parts of life. How do you make a vocal cut through a mix? The new backing vocals I did, I'm curious to know if you could make out what was being sung. At the very beginning, can you make it out? I could hear it very clearly in the car going down the highway at volume 9. I could hear it clear as a bell. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Psalm something or other. The valley of the shadow of death. That's where this song comes from. The valley of the shadow of death. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That's psalms or prayers of a sort. This is a psalm. How does the psalm go? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you're with me. I have faith. I'm going to talk about faith. I'm going to do it. I'm building up to it. It may take some time. What's the difference between faith and trust? The differences between faith and trust. And I was thinking today of how I could talk about that in terms of audio. Quite interesting to me, at least. a psalm. I'm in the valley of the shadow of death. But I'm going to have faith that you've got my back. Maybe I'm cursed. Maybe I'm cursed, but at the very worst, maybe I'm blessed to be the best that I can be when all my machines have gone to rust. Maybe I'm cursed, but at the very worst, maybe I'm blessed to be the best that I can be when all the debris has crumbled to dust. Maybe I'm cursed, but at the very worst, maybe I'm blessed to be the best that I can be when I'm running on fumes and trust, that I can be when I see no land from the mast, that I can be when I have nothing left in my fist. Maybe I'm cursed. And then the outro, maybe I'm cursed 6 times. And then I inserted, this is not in the silver mix. Yea, though I walk, maybe I'm cursed. Yea, though I walk, maybe I'm cursed. It's kind of garbled. I used modulations to give it texture and spatial distinction. In particular, I used a very extreme flanger jet plane. Yea, though I walk. And then the last line from the song Clap Hands by Tom Waits on his album Rain Dogs. And they all went to heaven in a little rowboat. It just seemed appropriate, but it has a deeper logic for me that has to do with, I also have a long-standing interest in Eastern spiritual traditions, Buddhism in particular. I recorded an album in a Buddhist temple. I lived there for 8-9 months. Lived in the temple. And I was an alcoholic then, and they put up with me. That's amazing. The rowboat has a reference to Buddhism. More than one reference, actually. But that's neither here nor there, is it? It's a Tom Waits line. Anyway, yeah, so that's the black mix, such as it is now. And, still doing it. That's going to take a while. It's hard enough to build new habits. I think it's harder still to stop old ones. That ties in with the alcoholism, it's many things, different things to different people. Addiction, habit. I was lucky. I didn't have DTs, and it wasn't a life-threatening thing for me to stop. I didn't need medical intervention to detox and stop. But I've got that DNA thing with it. You listen to Jordan Peterson talk about alcohol. He did a lot of clinical research on alcohol and alcoholism in his younger years. And he was also an alcoholic in his 20s. He had to stop. And this is a DNA thing. For some of us, it's alcohol acts like cocaine and heroin at the same time. That certainly was the case with me. And so now, I don't get excited much, and I don't sleep much. It's all good. I feel far less in danger of spinning off into schizophrenia. And if it starts to happen again, I think I have protocols for dealing with it. The last time it happened, I kept it together. I didn't run away from home. I didn't let on to anyone. Not even the long-suffering Mrs. knew until I told her. This was probably about 5 years ago. I told her, I said, listen, I'm seeing things that aren't there. I'm hearing things that aren't there. I'm hearing voices in the walls. Take a shower and I hear voices in the sound of the water. I walk into supermarket and the noise, just the general noise, the din of the place. I just walked into a supermarket and I heard Willie Nelson's "On the Road Again." It wasn't coming from the speakers. It was emerging from the noise of just the general hubbub of the public space. And that's what I'm dealing with right now. I'm looking at a YouTube video and there's there are things crawling around in the video that shouldn't be there. Just so you know. She's like, yeah. You really? Yep. And to her credit, she didn't freak out or she said, okay, well, I'm here. Please don't let the children or the neighbors see it. I said, I'm not. And I just treated it like a extended psychedelic trip. That one went on for a good 3 weeks. And certainly my alcohol consumption didn't help it in any way. Yeah. that's who you're dealing with here. It kind of takes a crazy kind of person to do some of the things I've done, even to be doing this right now. When I'm going on 3 hours. On the outside, that must look like it's just such an egotistical thing. Like, who goes on talking for 3 hours about arcane things and putting it up there as if anybody should care? And they have a point. But I can assure you, I'm not doing it for my own ego gratification. I never wanted to start this channel. So I'm making the best of it. Figuring it out how to make the best of it as I go along. And I have now I have a small handful of people to, that's not a very kind way to put it, a small handful of people. I mean, that's just one or two people it makes all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world. I wasn't even going to do this video tonight. Took a road trip. I'm kind of tired mentally. I had excuses. I had reasons just to bow out, and I just posted a long video last night. Yeah. And then I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right. I just checked YouTube. Oh, there's some comments from Josh. He's watching. Well, he's watching. He's commenting. Well, okay. I'll get up and do it. There's no need to take this all the way to 3 hours. 2:50, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. Chance is so super chill right now. Bunny rabbits are not, they're just like little prey animals. When I first took Chance, I felt kind of, he's a rabbit. I mean, I used to skin those things. I used to shoot them and skin them and chop them up and eat them. Not this kind of rabbit, of course, although his breed was bred partially as a meat rabbit for fur and meat. Fur, obviously. But also for meat. It's a French breed called Blanc d'Auto. My French pronunciation is terrible, but it's something like Blanc d'Auto. Named after the village where the breed was created by some French lady 100 years ago. Or odd years ago. But they're characters, man. Chance is a real character. He's such a sweet, gentle little soul. But it's not like a hamster. At first when I got him, I kind of looked at him like he's a big hamster. Technically they're not even rodents, you know? Technically they're not rodents. Rabbits are their own thing. And there's just 1,000 things I could tell you about old Chansey boy. He's such a sweet, gentle little. He can get cantankerous sometimes, but in a very low key way. But he has his good little bunny reasons for it. He's very sweet, very gentle little guy. So I was going to bring him up to the camera, but I'm not going to bother him right now because he's in he's got his little hoppers. his hind legs kind of splayed out behind him. It's just it's the thing that rabbits do when they're just sort of like supremely comfortable and chill and relaxed, and it's just not a good time to disturb him. He might even be snoozing. Yeah, I think he's sleeping actually. So I'm not gonna bother him. Okay. Well, this was fun for me, and productive as well. And if you're interested in this sort of thing, you got to sort of participate in my workflow and in my path of discovery with this. So that's it. 12:24 a.m. The night is young. I think I'm going to start this upload and then I'm not going to take a sleeping pill tonight. Over the counter, of course. I'm not going to do that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not the least sleepy. Yeah. Find something to do with my, I'm not going to go drink though. That's a certainty. Okay, so I'll finish with that. Hopefully this cuts through. I'm going to do it at the beginning of every video now. If you're struggling with the booze vampire, it's for me, I think of it as a vampire. You're not. And for me, it has been a very lonely path. Partially because of where I live and all that. But you are not alone. You may feel alone, but you're not. And hopefully I'm here to help a few people in this world be less alone. And if my time and efforts can be of service to someone, then it might make up for me being such an asshole. You know. Okay, enough. 2:56, 17, 18, 19. Was there anything else I wanted to add? Nope. I don't think so. All right. There was something, though. Hang on. Save and back out of this. Tomas chose the painting well. Check out the embryo up there. This is a painting about the bardo, the liminal space between death and rebirth. It's perfect for that album. And again, the colors bang on. Okay, 2 minutes 57, that's a good number. Enough of my thing. I'll see you in the next one. Over now.